Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Yeah. Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear.
Welcome, listeners, to episode 152 of the Massenomics podcast, the world's strongest podcast. Your favorite two Massenomics hosts are here again today. Tommy, how's it going?
It's going great.
And I'm Tanner.
Tanner, how's it going?
Oh, it's going good. I'm glad you asked.
One of these days, when I have enough responsibility and after enough apprenticeship hours, I might be able to start off the podcast. But it is a lot of responsibility, so.
I do literally say the exact same thing every time. I don't know if you've noticed this, if you picked them up.
Well, you got to.
I changed
keep
the number.
Familiar with people. Yeah, you don't want to throw them off. I think they're listening to a different podcast or something.
We could even just rehearse that one sound bite, and then we'll just cut out the part where it says 154.
Two. A robotic number comes in.
Yeah. The world's strongest podcast.
Yep.
So what's new this week? I see actually you got some good snow removal down there. I meant to mention that to you actually off air.
It's another week, so the only things you can count on in life are taxes, death, Larry PRs, and snow where we live. And, it snowed a lot again. I think we've talked about it before. I'm lucky enough to have a father-in-law that owns heavy machinery, and he swings by and, clears me out. And,
I thought you did that with your shovel.
No, it, looks like it looks like a landscaping company came in and, just went to town. But, I get the text, do you need some snow removed? And I'm always like, yes, I do. And when I was gone and when I showed up, I was like, this is. I got some piles now in my yard that are probably 9 feet tall. They're probably going to be there until June at the rate we're going.
But it's at least now when the snowplow come back again, there's room for the snow to go.
There is, because that's going to happen.
It has,
I think I caught you having a bit of a breakdown too with more snow coming.
That was the snowplows were we've talked about it before. The big thing is when the snowplows come by, you have to you have this huge pile in your driveway that you've already cleaned.
Ice, blocks of rocks.
The snowplows, I just glanced out the window and I was like, oh no, we're just on the way to go to our son's basketball game. We had to get out of the driveway.
And that's the thing. You have to. A car can't get through it.
No. And then I see him coming down the road and I'm like, oh no, not again. And literally, I was yelling oh no, and my wife had me on camera having a freak out about the plows coming again.
Yeah.
But you can't really talk to anyone anywhere now without being
it's just
how about that snow?
Yeah, it's just the topic, and it's there's nothing left to say. It's almost like it gives people comfort, and everyone else feels the pain that they do.
That it sucks just as bad for everyone.
It's like an open counseling session for everyone.
But that is the issue now. There's just nowhere else for it to go.
Yeah, no.
When you shovel it, you can't.
Driving through town, there's people that on the edges of their driveway, they now have a retaining wall of snow that's almost 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
I'm thinking if you were a kid and you were up there and fell, you could actually hurt yourself. It's high enough up.
Yeah.
But it's the world we live in.
It is.
And it's not fun. You know what else I did this week, Tanner?
What's that?
I cut the cord.
Oh, you were talking to me about this.
This is my second time coming back to being a cord cutter.
Yeah, your umbilical cord. It had been hanging off of there for
it's been this big stigma thing.
I heard that's really nutritious if you grind that up and eat it.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what when we had a baby last year, that's what I did is I ate the umbilical cord.
As is customary for men.
I have actually cut the cord.
Have you?
Yeah.
Do they actually offer it? Actually,
yes.
You know what? I didn't know that was even a thing until we were watching TV the other day, and I don't know what the hell we were watching, and that came up, and I told my wife, oh, that's really weird that they added that part into the show where they asked the guy.
Yeah.
She goes, no, that is a real thing.
Yeah, I did it, and I did not know that was a real thing until
they presented you.
And I was like, oh, I guess so. I guess and I was a little unsure about it, and it's you gotta dig into it a little bit.
It's probably one of those things that's just so rooted in tradition. Like, like to both you and me that didn't know it was a thing, it sounds completely like, why? Yeah. Why do I need to do this? But,
yeah. After the fact, I guess I'm glad I did it. If you can say that you did it, and
because now you feel like you actually have a connection with your child, right?
That's right. Otherwise, I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Had I not
some stranger in your house.
Had I not severed that line between mother and daughter.
Yeah, you're mine now.
Yeah.
But no, I did cut the cable cord this week. And
so did you have satellite television?
No.
Or did you have
they
cable?
did this because I did have cable at one point when I lost the roommates. I decided, you know what? I don't watch TV. We're going to get rid of cable. We'll just do there's so many streaming things, like PlayStation View and whatever Dish has and Hulu Live, all these things. We'll do something like that. It's $40 or whatever. But did that for a while, and then they get you back on hey, we have a crazy promotion. And really the promotion was TiVo, DVR, all this stuff, all these channels, and it was cheaper. The whole thing, internet and TV altogether, was $90. It's I can't afford to not do that. It's so good.
So did you went without cable for a while?
I went without cable for almost a year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I was fine with it, but I'm well, this does give me way more stuff. It's not a contract, so I can cancel as soon as the promotion's up.
Yep.
And I went 6 months, and it was insanely cheap, under $100. Then the last 6 months, it was about $120-ish, which for cable and internet I think is pretty fair. Yeah. Not bad. And I mean, it's the big package with DVR, all that stuff. So then you kind of forget about it. It's I feel
and it just
at some
creeps
point,
up a little more.
I feel at some point this is gonna move up, and then you get hit with that $200 bill, and it's bam, that one came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And so it was I'll wait for the Super Bowl football playoffs. I'll tough it out for one more month.
Yeah.
Then I finally made the switch this week. Decided to go with Hulu Live. I haven't tried that one yet. Haven't had Hulu ever. Oh. So this will be my first.
I just have, I don't know, you call it basic Hulu. I'm not really sure. I like Hulu. We watch it. We don't even have Netflix right now. We just have Hulu.
So, okay, I did watch. You talked about this on Netflix. You talked about the
Abducted in Plain Sight.
Abducted in Plain Sight. Yeah. Those people are crazy.
Yes. The parents of the family. Yes. Yeah.
My wife literally made me pause it. She had to scream how can they
That's the big thing. The big thing of the show, I don't think, is the creepy pedophile guy, because I think it's probably easy to find creepy pedophile guys in the world.
His story's a whole lot different than a lot of other pedophiles.
The reason that what makes the story is finding the parents of that were so oblivious to
just everything.
Yeah.
And then they don't want to look dumb.
Yeah.
So in order to not look dumb,
we won't
they
call
make
the police for 5
dumber.
days. Yeah. Can you imagine that your kids are gone for?
No, I couldn't imagine that with my dog.
Right.
If he's gone for 12 hours. You don't have to be gone 12 hours. If he's gone the first second he's gone, I'm gonna be on high alert. You know? And then you add a kid into the mix.
And the only thing I would say is, I guess it was a slightly different time in the than it is
that
now.
Is part
a little less overprotective parenting, but still, no parent would have would go and the way they said it, and then the next thing we knew, it was 5 days, and
and then another day.
Yeah,
it was Sunday, and they were closed, so we waited another day, and then it was been 5 days. My package hasn't showed up from UPS.
Yeah, right. I should probably look into that.
Actually, I think most people would get more upset about their package
Amazon delivery
than how these people felt about their kid being gone. But so that one, and without giving away too much more into other sexual relationships that developed in that show, it was insane. We had a meme that discussed this.
Yeah. There was a lot of different sexual relationships.
Yeah.
A lot of different dynamics at play.
In the end, you could say it all worked out, and it was a relief, right?
It was. And sometimes that's all you need, is just a little relief.
A little relief. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. So was it a good show, though? Is it on the recommendation list or not?
Yeah, I guess
you just
have
to
blow your mind that people like that exist and
Yeah.
don't be like that. But yeah, I guess. The other one, though, because you do have Hulu, I have to ask you, have you ever watched Nathan For You?
No, I don't know if I know what that is or not.
You need to watch it. It's probably like dry humor, as good as it comes.
Okay. Is it a comedy?
It's a Comedy Central show. Okay. And basically what this guy does, and I forgot that it was on Hulu until today. It popped into my, and I typed it in, it was there. I'm like, yes. So what this guy does is, he is like the most socially awkward guy. he's aware of what he's doing, but he's so good at playing the part like you don't know.
Uh-huh.
So he's a very socially awkward guy. And he finds struggling small business owners and comes up with like marketing plans and schemes to help them out.
The Prophet.
I don't even know.
That's a show. Not a funny show, but
it is a real thing. Okay.
He's called The Prophet because it's like a play on words that he's helping a struggling business.
So this is, I mean, he's trying to do that basically, but I think it's the first episode, and I haven't watched it in so long, but I think this is it's like an ice cream shop, and they're struggling to get people in the door. So he's like, well, we just need to come up with a more outlandish flavor. So they developed a poop flavored ice cream, and it's like they're like, well, this kind of isn't like the right thing we want to do, and it's just a bunch of really dumb stuff like that. The one I watched tonight, right before this, there is a guy that owns a small electronics store, and he can't compete with Best Buy because they do price matching. And he basically can't compete, with their volume, purchasing volume, and all that stuff. Like, there's no way you can compete as a small business owner. So he decides, he's like, well, we'll make an ad that sells TVs for $1, and then Best Buy will have to price match that. You'll buy their TVs and then just resell them. So you now have $1 TVs. And he's like, but what gets tricky is while we're running our ad for $1 TVs, we don't want people to buy them.
Right.
So what he does is they move all the TVs to the back of the store. They install a wall that has a door that's 2 feet tall. Well, and even to get in the store, they enforce a strict dress code where you have to wear a tuxedo. So just to get into the store, you have to have a tuxedo on. Then once you have a tuxedo on, there is a special back room for the premium TVs. To get in, there's a door that's about 2 feet tall, so you have to crawl through the door. Then once you go through there, the TVs are in a room, but there is an alligator in the room with the TVs. So there's a few people that actually show up to the store,
go through the whole thing.
They go rent a tuxedo, come back, crawl through the door, find the alligator, and are like, no, and just leave.
Yeah.
And then so he hires people on Craigslist to go to Best Buy to buy these TVs for $1. Best Buy won't price match.
They
wouldn't price match it. So then he's like, well, I'm going to file a civil lawsuit on behalf of this business. And then he talks to his attorney friend, and his attorney friend says, well, you need to find maybe some you need to find like a insider person on Best Buy, like colluding, like saying like, oh yeah, Best Buy is known for not price matching this. And then if you have some like evidence that that's a thing, then maybe you have something. So then he makes a fake reality TV show called Retail Dating, where he goes and finds someone that used to be a Best Buy employee, takes her on a fake date, gets her to admit like, oh yeah, we wouldn't price match all the time. And then he's like, oh, I have it on TV, I have it on evidence. So then he's like, okay, well, I'll present this. And then the guy's like, no, there's no way. He's like, you have to get her to admit that in court. So then he decides like, okay, I'll get the store owner, or he then go ahead with the final civil lawsuit. This is getting so deep. He has to get the guy to, or he's like, there's no way that would stand in court. And then he says, well, the only reason I can make it stand in court is if this guy was insane. So then he convinces a doctor to like say the store owner's insane. Either way, the show gets like so off the rails. It's really, really good if you like dry, awkward humor and like people just being put on the spot. It probably doesn't get any better. So if any of that, what I just said, sounded interesting or ridiculous to you, check it out.
I'm interested. I might have to sample that one this evening, actually.
So
do sometimes the business owners resist and kind of be like, no, we're not doing that. A lot of them are like,
that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. And some of the things have actually, he is the guy that he made
the Pet Rock.
No, he did make a store called Dumb Starbucks, where it was like an exact copy of Starbucks. They just put dumb in front of everything.
I've heard of that.
And it was open, and it was popped up in LA, and it got like super popular for like, because it was just this random shop. And because it was under parody, I guess Starbucks couldn't really do anything about it. And he had another one where there was like a petting zoo, and I believe they were having, struggling getting people to come through the petting zoo. So they staged this super elaborate video of, I'm trying to remember, it was some animal in a pond, and it looked like it was drowning, and they like set up a pig to swim across the pond to look like it saved this animal. And they actually had like this fence under the water so it couldn't go anywhere else, but actually, and this video went viral. It was all over the news and everything. And then the owner had to come out and admit like, oh, this was a staged thing. And So they have had like some success and some things that actually pop up. But I mean, really, it is a comedy show, and
Right.
he kind of does like the Borat Bruno thing where he catches people like at their worst, or
Yeah.
shows like how if you do kind of seem like you're being honest, you can kind of convince people to do just about anything.
Yeah.
And say just about anything
Yeah.
and go with, oh no, like there's cameras here, it's okay, and like people will just go with it. Like, so it's probably
Even
more
if
of
they know it's
probably
against
more of an
the-
exercise in like human psychology than anything.
Yeah.
But it is fascinating to like watch how it all goes down.
I'm definitely interested in that.
And 20-minute episodes, you can just plow through those things.
Speaking of Hulu shows, are you aware of the Penn 15 Club?
I saw it pop up on there.
Well, it's just called Penn 15, but
Okay,
I'm
yes,
wondering if you're aware.
going back to childhood. Yes, the Penn
You're-
15 Club. Yeah, totally aware of that.
Yeah, so Penn 15 is a show now on there, and my wife has watched a few episodes, and I've watched them with her. Pretty good. What I like about the show is it follows these two. From what I understand, it's these two women that are comedians now in real life, and they're both our age, like right around 30. And they play like kind of almost like themselves as 7th grade girls, but it's everyone else like in the show does look like a 7th grader and stuff, and these two are like
They're actual
themselves
selves, yeah.
dressed up as like 7th graders with braces and everything like that. But so what's funny is it's set in 2001 as 7th graders, like when we would have been about that age.
Yeah, somewhere around there, yeah.
And, I feel like it's common that you see shows that are like take place in the 80s or take place in the 70s.
Now seeing shows taking place in the early 2000s.
When it's like, like that's like they're actually, and like, so most of the kids are wearing like we've talked about it. Most of the kids are wearing like Superstar,
like the
Adidas shoes and like, just all these references
all
from
these early 2000 trends
yeah,
that didn't stick.
and like all the songs on it are all like early 2000s.
Just Ja Rule's bumping.
Yeah.
Back when Ja Rule was making music and not ruining music festivals.
And just even like the words that they use and everything, and I really liked the show because it was all this like
The nostalgia was there.
Yeah.
I might have to
So
check that
anyone
out.
that's about 30, you could watch that, and it's
might
kind of
have
funny.
a-
I almost think it's more geared towards females as a audience, but because it's following the teenage life of girls, so inherently it kind of is, but it's still really funny because of all the early 2000s references that are in there.
Yep.
I really laughed when I was like, geez, they do have them all wearing Superstar 2G shoes. I was like, that's great.
Yeah,
And like a lot of the haircuts and stuff are all match up pretty good with the time.
Yep.
So that's another good show.
I have to get that on the list.
Yes. One thing I did see this week. Well, actually, this is coming out on Monday, so we're on our way home from the Arnold right now as you're listening to this. But in real life, we haven't quite made it to the Arnold yet.
Yep.
And I saw Rogue put out a Roads to the Arnold. Their videos.
I haven't seen any of those come out this
They
year.
did one of Ray Williams.
Oh.
So you got to watch that.
Have they done? Because normally I feel like I see those pop up a lot, and I haven't seen anything about them. Have there been many?
I saw these two. There was one for the deadlift, for the elephant bar
okay.
deadlift. There's a Road to the Arnold elephant bar deadlift. You
That event
gotta watch
deserves
that.
one.
You know what the best part of the Road to the Arnold elephant deadlift bar is?
There's a lot of Massenomics cameos.
There is Massenomics cameos in the Road to the Arnold deadlift video.
I like it.
And if you watch anything of the elephant bar deadlift, especially the year in 2018 when Thor breaks the record and everything, and that's what this follows kind of. When you're watching the camera angle from behind the deadlifters, all you have to do is look slightly to your left in the crowd, and you see a group of about 4 light blue lift shirts in every shot.
It's been immortalized.
Yes. We're always right over there. Do you every time you see those? Do you always look for that?
I look every time.
Yeah.
And even if I've actually been. I think I could be wrong here, but I think Rogue had like a commercial pop up before a YouTube video one time. And actually, I was watching with some friends. I had to make them go
Pause.
back in the commercial to be like, "Look, I'm in there."
Yeah. But that Road to the Arnold elephant bar deadlift one is really good. Of course, though they have all those iconic, like the slow motion dropping. And,
Probably the blood splatter.
Yeah, actually they did. They left that out.
Oh.
And I feel like they probably left. It had to have been intentional to leave that out.
I would assume, yeah.
Like I suppose they decided
Appealing to a
that's
broader audience.
Yeah, like they don't want the image of the the blood out of the face thing for everyone.
It's not the most family-friendly thing.
No, for your hardcore lifters, it's like, but for your average people, they're like, whoa, what's wrong with that guy?
What's happening to make this happen?
Yeah. But the Ray Williams one is good, of course.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that one.
And then the other one I want to talk about, Mateusz Kowski. They did one on him. Got to watch that one. So he's from Poland.
Yep.
And kind of like what you'd expect, he has his own like little gym that he has to heat with like a wood burning stove.
Oh, really? Yeah. So it is like the old country boy.
Yes,
okay.
yes. And I think he's from a village with about 40 people, and you got to watch his. He's only 25 years old still, but we of course remember how he rocked the stage last year on the stone to shoulder.
Yep.
That stone that they used last year is about 400 pounds, same one that they're using this year. He made the comment how he likes to train heavier than the competition one. I saw the other week he did like a 440-pound one.
Really?
This week he did one that was like 485 pounds.
Wow.
Almost 500 pounds that he put on his shoulder.
You would assume then a 400-pound stone is nothing at that point.
And that's like that. He is the king of that lift. Mm-hmm. I'd be curious to see if anyone else in the world could shoulder that 480-pound stone. I don't know who it would be because the way Shaw and Thor both looked last year, they didn't.
It also makes me really curious, like if they're bringing their A game with that this year. I can't imagine they're going to show
be
up
stepped
like
up.
they did
Yes,
last, yeah.
right. I bet you're right too.
Yeah.
But still, he probably is still another step ahead of them now. The way he made that look.
You would assume.
The other one I'd be curious about is Martins because he's kind of good at that stuff. It looks like so
Yes.
maybe he'll be able to hang with them on that a little bit.
Yeah. Didn't he also just have a big like deadlift set of like?
I think he did like 915 for 3.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's a lot.
It is. We have more big deadlifts to report too, but we'll save that for later on in the show. We don't want to ruin big lifts right now.
That's true. That's a good point.
Should we get to today's feature presentation?
Yeah.
Now that we're done with all the ads and all of that stuff, we can get right to the show.
Now that you're caught up on what we watch on television, that's usually you got to get the most important things out of the way first.
For us, spring, the new year, it's kind of a time when a lot of people start hitting meets again.
Yep.
And it's been quite a while.
You're talking about like Rocky scenes in the butcher shop hitting meats?
Running upstairs, doing all types of crazy stuff. But now is the time where we have a lot of guys that are getting right back into meat season.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Getting peaked, ready to go. And it's been quite a while since we've just talked about like getting ready for a powerlifting meet.
Yeah.
Or maybe it hasn't. We don't even know for sure. We're so far into this thing, we don't even know what we've talked about anymore.
We actually discussed that. We're not sure how much we have ever talked about it before. So maybe we've done 2 episodes on it. Maybe we've never talked about it before. Either way, you guys probably don't remember either. So.
Yeah. So we'll give this can be our 2019 version of what to do before a powerlifting meet.
And really, our opinions could have changed since 2016.
We do have years of experience.
That's
now
right.
That we can contribute to this conversation. So,
and probably an interesting thing to kick that off with is our very own Massenomics rookie cards. That as you're listening to this, those have been published onto our Instagram feed. You can check them out there. I'll run down yours here first. This is from March 2015, Tommy DeFay's first meet.
The world was so innocent back
Yes.
then.
Yeah, it was the South Dakota USAPL state meet in Rapid City, South Dakota. Your squat, do you know the exact number?
Low 400s, I think.
402.
402.
Would that have been a second attempt, do you think?
Yep, I missed my
That's what
third. I know I missed my third.
Yeah.
On that.
Bench?
275-ish?
276.
276, okay.
Was that a third?
I
don't remember you missing a bench.
I think that was also a second attempt, I think.
Okay. And deadlift?
Okay. My deadlift is the exercise is the lift that's come along the most. Was it like 415?
430.
430, okay.
But technically, has it come? What's your best squat?
Ooh, my best squat is 540, whatever the kilo is. Is it
540? Oh, 540. And what's your best deadlift? Is it the same?
540, yeah.
So your squat has actually technically come along the most.
True,
I mean,
yeah,
just from pure
numbers.
numbers.
Right there.
So 1108 total.
1108.
And
that was at what? The 183?
Yes, 183 weight
class, which also is really hard to believe.
And I think you weighed like towards the top, like you were like 182 or 181 or something like that, or 179.
179
yeah,
was
that's
the
right.
open powerlifting stat, which I didn't know.
The other info on your rookie card: Tommy has gone on to co-host the Massenomics podcast and can be found at booth 528 at the Arnold.
Most important factor.
Yes,
there.
yes. And that's what you looked like.
That is me.
Yeah.
Yep. Dang, that's a skinny guy.
Yeah. So if you wanna check these out, you can check them out on our Instagram page. Is probably the easiest way to find it. My rookie card, also March 2015.
Okay, I thought it was the same date.
Yep, South Dakota State USAPL meet. My body weight, I'm not 100% sure. I think I was like 267, 268, something like that.
Would you like to know exactly, Tanner?
Sure. Now I'm curious more curious if I'm right when I estimate that.
Your body weight, 272.7.
Okay, 272. I guess that was more.
Well, it does say 0.7, so we don't want to round anything
true.
here, lose any scientific credibility.
That's true. My squat was 518 pounds, and I know that was a third attempt. My bench was 424. I know that was a third attempt. And my deadlift was 606, and that was a third attempt for 1548. Does that match up with the numbers that you see there? Yeah.
It does.
That means I did this right. I didn't mess up. That means
Yeah,
I didn't
that's good stuff.
that means I didn't artificially inflate my numbers for the sake of looking
sake,
cool on
yeah,
Instagram.
yeah. Well, and that was the thing. We both were just like, you said, "Hey, do you want to do a meet?" And I said, "Sure."
Yeah.
And like I wasn't waiting for the perfect time or years to develop. You just got to get in there and do it.
Yep.
So that actually
That's tip number one.
That should be the first tip of this, and it does lead into it really well. Is don't wait for the perfect time because, okay, let's say you're in my situation. Over the years I've put over 300 pounds on my total.
Yep.
Still just placed totally average at meets. So at this point, like, what would I have waited for?
Yeah. If you waited to be as
6
strong
years
as
to put 600 pounds on my total,
Right.
okay, well then now, yeah, I could probably win a meet now.
Right.
But also, why would I sit out for 6 years? What's the point of that?
Right.
To be on
Especially
the sidelines?
if you have the desire to compete.
Yeah.
There's no reason to wait.
And I don't think there's anything that makes you progress faster than saying you're going to do a meet.
Oh, definitely.
There is not a thing that does.
That definitely.
So that probably could be the biggest training secret. Want to get bigger, stronger, faster?
Yeah.
Sign up for a meet.
Yes.
Nothing else is going to do it more than actually putting a deadline on the calendar.
That is true.
Because you can't make excuses for yourself
No,
now.
and we've witnessed that many times with people in the gym. Is like when you're coming up to a meet, you train.
Mm-hmm.
It's different.
Yeah, it keeps you more focused than anything.
Yep.
It keeps you more accountable for everything because there are no excuses. Like you have to go out there, and I guess you can make excuses on the day of, but your numbers, now with open powerlifting, your numbers are recorded. you know?
Yep.
And you don't get to put like an excuse next to it in open powerlifting. Well, I was feeling really sick this day, and they weren't playing my music, and it was earlier.
Right.
And, my attempt got rushed, and no, it's just like the numbers there. So.
Yes. And yeah, the common excuse of not being strong enough, I think, just is not a good reason to not do a meet. You might have other good reasons, but I don't think that would be a good one. Is worrying about that you're not strong enough, or that you just need one more year to get a little stronger. Because a year from now, you're gonna think, one more year, I'll just be.
With this thing, no one's ever said I'm strong enough.
Right.
I'm gonna shut it down there.
And that's kind of the premise of the whole thing. Is you always want to be stronger, anyways. That's just the nature of the sport.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that was probably step number one is with a meet, just sign up and do one.
Yeah.
Preferably now you do one close to where you live, because that takes a whole stress level out of travel and
Right.
there's so many variables of places maybe you've never been before and venues you don't know about.
And depending on where you live in the country, that might, like for us, it's probably more difficult for us than almost anyone else.
Yeah, for us the closest meet was 300 miles away.
Yeah.
So we had to travel 6+ hours to
Yeah.
go to a meet, and that was the closest one around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think most people have that issue.
Yeah, and most people would not, especially if you're from the West Coast
or even like I think
the South.
Yeah, or the Northeast.
Yeah,
I think there's
or even like
the
Chicago,
South, yeah,
more Eastern Midwest than us.
I think just outside of our general area,
Yeah.
there's no shortage of meets.
Right.
So yeah, sign up and do one is the first rule there. But when it comes to getting ready, what do you have any good tips, Tanner, for just general meet prep, getting ready?
Well, I think you want to have a certain amount of time to plan it out ahead. So I guess if it is your first meet, and we're saying just do it, The nice thing would be to have, I don't know, I would say at least 12 weeks ahead of time to be able to say, I'm going to do it in 3 months.
I think that's kind of the magic number, too.
Yeah.
I think 12 weeks gives you 3 months. That gives you plenty of time to prepare.
Yeah.
Get everything in order and make sure that you're going to be ready to go.
If you've been lifting for a long time and it's a spur of the moment and it's 2 weeks later, I mean, if your first one, you're not out anything still, but a better plan, I think, is to have about 12 weeks, 8 weeks maybe even you could do it, but I would like the number a minimum of 12 weeks.
And especially if you're doing like someplace that has stricter, whether you agree with them or not, stricter rules like the USAPL where like bench, you got to keep heels on the ground,
keep your head on the bench,
like,
keep your butt down.
And just training with a pause. Like those are things that unless you've been training specifically for a meet, you've probably never done those things before. And don't expect to just be good at those in a week or two, you know, like it does take some time to readjust your training and even readjust your numbers to compensate for those, the commands.
Because if you've been used to bench pressing and you maybe maxed out frequently and everything, but you've never done it a pause, never done it with your head on the bench, your numbers for competition and you've never done it after maxing out on a squat that very same day, there has to be sometimes a change in expectation of the numbers that you can do in a meet. Same way with deadlift. You have to do it after squatting, after benching. There may be a change in what you think really is a max deadlift for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, I that's a good point for that 12 weeks, not only to maybe kind of peak yourself to a certain degree, get used to the heavier weights, but just getting used to lifting that way. If you've never done a meet before, getting used to making sure you are hitting depth on a squat, making sure you are locking out a deadlift, and following all the bench rules.
Yep. So the big one there is just knowing the rules of your federation.
Yeah.
That's going to be one of the biggest issues you're going to be having on the day is playing to the actual rules, not just your gym rules.
Yes.
But playing to the rules of the refs or the judges you're competing in front of.
Right.
So you're going to want to get very familiar with that so there's no surprises the day of. We've both, I think every meet we've ever been in, there's been people in the warm-up room asking actually about rules, like not familiar with whether it's bench rules or squat, like not knowing that. I think every federation you have to wait for the rack command. I'm not sure. Maybe
I
the
think
USPA,
you will. I don't know. I bet you have to.
Yeah, but it's pretty common where you have to. I mean, even just the down command. You got to wait for a lot of these commands. And so every meet I've been in, there's I think been at least one person that's been like, hey, "Are you? How does that go for?" Like not completely confident in the rules. So there's people out there, but you just save yourself from some stress being familiar with those things.
And there's always a rules meeting too before it, and you're really antsy and nervous at that time, but I would suggest just like trying your best to listen during that because they do go over that. So as a good refresher that day of listen, don't just stand there and, you're like thinking about your attempts and thinking about everything else. Yep. Listen to what the guys are actually saying because if it can buy you more leeway, I would say too. Like if you're like consciously like focused on, and then like the judges know that you're paying attention to what's going on. Especially as someone that's their first meet. Yeah, right. Especially someone that's their first meet, like a lot of judges and everything, they want to see you do well and like have
along
fun.
with most lifters too. I mean, that is the nice thing about powerlifting is most people are good people and will go out of their way to help you. I mean, now there's a difference between being a distraction and things like that. But as far as just needing help, just clarification for how the meet runs, most people that have done one are more than happy to help, which is really, really awesome.
Yeah, and that's what I think can be a really big bonus if you can do your first meet in a way that you're going in with a friend or multiple people that you are, maybe not even a close friend, but just someone from your gym or lifting that's doing it too. Mm-hmm. That can really help a lot because they can help you out through they're going through the warm-ups at the same time as you, so they can literally walk you through it right as you're doing it, and what weigh-ins are going to be like, what equipment check-ins are going to be like, all of that.
Yep, and that again, that's all going to vary so much by federation, but just have an idea that stuff's there and you got to be ready for it. But leading up to the meet though, another thing that's really big is like your programming and peaking. Like you're not going to want to just be, I mean, there's so many people that are much more knowledgeable on this than us.
Yeah.
And I would say there's definitely an art to this. Most people that think they're good probably aren't as good as they think they are at it. But peaking for a meet is a very particular skill set. There's no way around that. Like, And you can look online. There's tons of resources online. There's programs. You can hire a coach. There's a lot of resources out there to help you. But you do got to go into a meet a little different than just your everyday training. And
right.
Probably at its most basic level, the key principle here is you're going to want to decrease volume while increasing intensity.
Yes.
Because that is what's hard to recover from is crazy volume sets. Like you're not going to be a week out from the meet hitting sets of 5x5. Like that's just not what you should be doing.
Yeah, and even more basic, you're going to do less reps, higher weight.
Yes.
Leading up to it, tapering up to it.
Making that even simpler.
Yeah. Less reps, more weight.
Yep. The closer the meet day comes, the less work you're doing.
And then when you get very close to it, I do think even amongst people that are experts, there is some difference in opinion of this.
I do think even from person to person, there's personal variance. Like
right, for sure. But generally, most people, then when you get very close, you're going to keep the volume low, but then you're going to drop the intensity too. So the weight's going to come down right at the very end. So the idea is that your strength is still there, but you reduce your fatigue at the same time. So you're strongest.
The name of the game here is recovery.
Exactly. But what's interesting, I have heard more people say, like that are really into programming and stuff lately, that they are becoming more of the mindset that taper needs to be even less. That like volume's still low, but keeping some of the intensity high, like closer to the end.
Yep.
And
I'm sure. Like we're like you'll hear some like the bigger guys, like the guys that can deadlift 900 pounds, having their last deadlift session 2-3 weeks before the meet.
And that makes a difference.
It does.
If they're deadlifting 900 pounds. So
yes,
that's,
and guys like us that are not getting those numbers.
Right.
We don't need that much time to recover.
Yes.
And for the most part, we're basically the week before is when we start to really slow things down.
Yes.
And that's probably a pretty safe rule of
a
thumb
good
for most
general
people.
rule, yeah. Especially people that are your first powerlifting meet.
Yes. Yep.
We're not talking about people that can deadlift, 9, 8, 7, 600 pounds most of the time. Like most people's first meet, they're going to deadlift probably between 250 and 500 pounds.
Mm-hmm. And that is the other thing though is with a meet you need to be prepared to have your attempts. And so with that, like leading up to that, you do need to start taking some heavier singles. Not saying max out every week before the meet. Like no, don't do that.
You don't need to max out. That's like just as a general rule, you don't really even need to max out. Like you don't have to fail.
No, and you shouldn't. Like, why would you want to?
Right.
But you do need to start maybe taking some more stretch. If you especially haven't been touching singles or doubles in a long time, start kind of feeling out like what is that, that upper end of what's there, and get an idea. So if you're going into your first meet and you think you're going to deadlift 500 pounds, maybe a couple weeks out, you take like an attempt at 450 and just see how that feels. And if that 450 is like stuck, okay, then now we know like 500 is not in the cards. And if the 450 feels really good, okay, you have an idea now of where you're going with your attempts.
Yeah, you do have to have some sort of idea. And that raises another thing of just looking strictly at openers. A lot of people always, there's some rule of thumbs for openers. One thing people say is something that you could do for a set of 3. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a safe way to look at it. I think if you can do something for a set of 3.
To me, that seems really safe. Yeah.
And it should be, I would say, if you're looking at bench, it's not something that you can do for the sloppiest of hell on your best day ever, touch and go set of 3. It's something you could do for a reasonable set of 3 to competition standard. Yes. Because that's where you could get yourself in a tricky spot, I think, too. Like, same with deadlift. It'd be like a set that you can do of 3 with straps on your favorite bar ever with the bumper plates, touch and go you can get for 3. That might not be your opener number. That might you might be giving yourself too much credit for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And really, like, when it comes down to openers, especially like in your first couple meets, I still almost have this mentality is that
get something good.
Well,
like
my openers aren't going to
fast.
I don't plan on my openers counting.
They don't. At the end of the day, the opener should not matter.
Do you plan on your opener being your best lift? If you don't, then it shouldn't even matter what you do for it, really, because you plan on hitting better ones after that. So yeah, just make your opener feel really good. Like that should be a momentum builder.
And when that is like that just from personal experience. I can say that feels good when you're like,
it feels awesome to run out on a platform in front of a crowd and just crush a weight and be like, oh, yeah. Like, nothing builds up momentum and confidence more than that.
That's true.
I still am lucky enough that I've never gone out and hit an opener and been like, oh, my God, I'm in trouble. Like, the closest thing I got to that was this last squat or this last meet, my first squat attempt. I just had the pins too high, and it was like, whoa, I'm really off on this thing. Luckily, I got my rack height adjusted for the next one. The second one came out and felt even better than the first, and that was awesome. You know, that's what you want with those things.
Because that's a bad feeling if you come out with your opener and you like grind through it, and you're like, whoa, now what do I do?
Where do you even go from
And just
there?
mentally, that's such a screws up your mind of versus the feeling of, I crushed that. Now, like, regardless of how strong you actually are, not just the mind, knowing you can go into that next lift, whatever the difference is going to be, and just knowing that you have the confidence to do it. That makes a huge difference.
And I think with attempts, really your goal for your first couple meets should be to put like a high number of attempts on the board. You want to be going 7 for 9, 8 for 9, 9 for 9. Like I don't think you want 6 for 9.
Right. So your first one, what we think you went 7 for 9.
I think I went 7 for 9.
And that's, I think, 7 for 9 to 9 to 9 should be your goal. I don't think don't feel like if you don't go 9 for 9 that it is an enormous loss. Like if you go 8 for 9, 7 for 9, even maybe 6 for 9, that could still be a pretty successful day. But
yes, it could be.
But if you're going,
like, you don't want to go in and miss every single third attempt.
Right, exactly.
That's not fun because you're probably missing some PRs then.
Yes.
So just being smart and like having those things written down, because it more than likely your attempts are going to be called in kilos, and so you want to,
that's just a good point in itself. Like, it's going to be in kilos.
Yeah.
If you've never done a meet before, you might not even it will all be in kilos.
So like go into the notes app on your phone, start writing down, for sure your first attempt, and then like what you think like the second and third attempts could be.
Yeah.
And get that in pounds and kilos, and have that there. And it takes off so much stress of like the day of being like, oh, I should think about what I'm going to try and do today.
Right.
There should be no mystery at that point. Like what kind of what the rough game plan is. Even.
You should know your openers before that day. Like, that week going in, or I mean, to me, I would probably know my openers a general idea weeks before, and then you maybe fine-tune them slightly between here and there. But, you should know those.
Yeah, and, I mean, really the biggest mystery will be, like, a third attempt.
Yes.
Like the day of, you might find out, like, things aren't feeling the best. Second attempts get tough, or second attempts are really easy. Yeah. That's when you can really start to move that third attempt around.
Yeah. Because a lot of times I'd say you almost already kind of know your second attempt. You have, assuming the first attempt goes like it's supposed to, I kind of know what my second attempt is going to be. And maybe you have a range where, like, maybe there's a reason I want to move it down a little if the first felt different. Maybe not that often would you need to move it up, because I think you're planning on it like in a...
The third attempt you might move up. But
the third attempt is where there's more... Yeah, the third attempt is where there's going to be more liberty to make an adjustment, where you're like, ooh, I thought I was going to do 600, but now my only choice after how hard that second was is I'm going to move up the one increment, the 2 kilos or whatever the smallest jump is. Or, man, I was planning on doing 600, but that second moved so good, I would almost be crazy not to do 615.
And if this is your first meet, there's probably a good chance both of those will happen.
Yes.
We still go back. We still laugh going back and watching old meets and like being like, man, some of our attempt selections were way too hard and way too easy. And that's just part of it, like just getting to know yourself through this whole thing. But another, maybe one of the most helpful things for the actual meet day and your success on the meet day is if you can have like a handler or training partner there, someone that can look at your lifts more objectively and help you. I mean, just help you through the day. If you're doing your first meet or your second meet, and even if you can just go to the meet with someone you know, or if you can compete with one of your friends, that's really helpful too, because now you have someone where you can kind of bounce things off of. They can help if you're in a different flight. They can help you warm up, load plates, kind of keep an eye for the way the meet's moving, just the way how warm ups, how fast the pace should be going on these things. There's a lot of variables that are out of your control, but having kind of a second set of eyes and ears can really help push it more in your favor.
Yeah, because when you get done with an attempt, you're like you're like,
and
that's when you have to go select your next attempt. So it is nice just to have someone, even if you're not going to listen to them that much, just someone to be like, hey, what do you think of this?
And that's been, to me, one of the most helpful things the last 2 meets. Tanner, you haven't lifted at it, but you've basically the entire meet prep were there the whole time. Myself and several other guys were getting ready, so you knew kind of how things were moving for us. And as soon as we get done with an attempt, going to the judges' table, you were right there, and you could say like, "Yeah, that did move really fast."
Easy.
Or like,
you had a bench one time. Was it this last year or 2 years ago when it was like your first or your second? It was almost something weird happened.
Yeah, I think it was my first one. Yeah, something weird. Like my shoulder was getting tight. Something weird happened. You're like, I'd be kind of careful on the second one.
But then you hit your second one really
my
well.
Second one felt great. Yeah. So just having like that second set of eyeballs, because when you're out on the platform, you're just in such a different element. It is really hard to, you do have the feel for it, but it is really hard to. I mean, it's not your normal situation. So it is helpful to have that more objective, critical look from a third party.
Yeah. So you talked about the warm-up room, and that's a good point too. And even in general, with everything in the meet, a big piece of advice I would have is try to always give yourself enough time that you're not rushed. Mm-hmm. And like I would say that from like equipment check-in, I would want to be there, not the last person there.
No,
because not for weigh-ins, I want to not be the last person there. Mm-hmm. For in the warm-up room, if I had to pick between starting to warm up too early or starting to warm up too late, I would choose to warm up too early because I do not want to get back. Because it is a clusterfuck sometimes with maybe you're limited on the number of racks you have back there.
And you don't know who's back. There could be guys that you lift way heavier than, and they're spending too much time on lower weights. Or there could be guys that are way stronger than you, and they're just going to blow past your weights, And you're like, I didn't get to warm up the way I want to. So, yeah, you want to give yourself as much time as possible.
Yes, especially with the warm-ups, because I do not like the feeling of being because the way I am, I get that feeling anyways, like I'm in I'm going to be in a rush even if it's not. So then if beyond that I really am having to be in a rush, like it
just the stress really
there's enough stress of just doing what you're supposed to do there, let alone like adding on these other things of not managing your time correctly.
And with that time thing, just being there early, it gives you a chance to scope out the venue.
Yeah.
Where the bathrooms are at. You're going to be going to the bathroom a lot.
Yep.
So find where those bathrooms are at. Like maybe there's a closer one nearby that isn't super obviously marked, but knowing about that can save you time,
Yep.
Like, I don't know, is there concessions? Like if you forget to pack something, like can you grab like a Gatorade or something there? Is there water around? If you drink, there's a good chance you'll probably drink all the water you bring. Is there a water fountain nearby?
Yeah.
Just things like that are things that make the day go much smoother.
Being prepared with food and drink in general is a good idea. Have something, either have it with you already or, plan the night before or the morning of if you can.
You don't want to, like I said, concessions maybe, for a drink or something, but you don't want to be relying on like nachos and like that stuff during your meet day. You want to keep it pretty bland.
And from my experience, do you eat very much? Like you don't need very much. It's nice to have something between.
Yeah, these last couple of years, we've been lucky that the meets ran really fast. So, like, you get done with an attempt, you might have time for, like, a little snack bar or, like, maybe, like, a half of a sandwich.
Right.
But even then, like, you got to start warming up again.
Yeah.
Your
stomach's just not in it
most
for
people, but I personally don't like lifting on a completely full stomach.
And I am someone that during a normal course today, I would eat a lot during the day, and during meets, that's just not that's not what my stomach wants. There's just so many nerves and other things.
Yeah,
I do think you want to make yourself eat a little bit between, after your squat before your bench, after your bench before your deadlift. I do think you want to be getting in some fluids and some food, but you don't need to go crazy with that.
Yeah, and talking about this food thing, don't even worry about cutting weight on your first one. Like
that's what I agree.
You're not going to be.
Is there ever a situation where you need to cut weight on your first ever powerlifting
No,
meet?
because you're not going to nationals.
No.
So as good as you think you are, you're not good enough to go to nationals.
And also remember, nobody cares.
And nobody
cares.
cares.
That's a good point to remember in general. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Like just.
It adds stress that you don't need. Do you really plan on these being your best numbers ever? No, you don't? Okay. Well, then you're going to have bigger numbers at your next one anyways, and this meat won't even matter in the scheme of things. It's just an experience thing. So don't even worry about cutting meat. Or cutting weight, cutting meat.
Don't cut your meat either.
Don't cut your meat either. But, don't even worry about cutting weight. Like, because you don't want to go into a meet and do like, well, in training I hit these really good numbers, but I mean, I did cut 10 pounds, so my total went down about 50 pounds over what I thought it was. Right. But I did cut 10 pounds. Like, that's not the name of the game.
I don't like that justification.
Yeah, the name of the game here isn't to get skinnier. The name of the game here is to lift a bigger total.
And I would, for the elite lifters, I understand cutting weight.
Yeah, but that is only at the unless you're at a national or world stage, there's not a point.
No, exactly.
Like, I even get bummed out, like, as a spectator, like when I see, oh, so-and-so hit all of these crazy squat numbers, bench numbers, deadlift numbers, and they went to a meet and their best attempts were not even what they hit in, were significantly under what they hit in training. It's like, well, they did have a really good total at their weight class, but it's like, I'd rather just see a bigger total.
Yeah.
It's more fun that way.
I agree. And that, we kind of talked about it before, but I would say it again, for someone, a beginner going into your first meet, don't worry about hitting your PRs in the gym before the meet. The place that you want to hit your PRs is at the meet. Like, you don't, as much as you're going to want to, like, if you've peaked well and you feel like you're strong enough to hit some PRs before it, like, I would, even though I would be guilty at times of doing the same thing, and like everyone probably is, like, if you can just pull back the reins a little bit to save your PR attempts for the platform, because as little as powerlifting matters in the grand scheme of everything, at least you're at the one time where it kind of will be etched in somewhere. Yeah, like, that's the spot to do it. You want to get PRs
when they actually count.
Yes, yes, right.
Yep. So, yeah, just a little patience there. It goes a long way.
Yeah.
We're getting down there on time. Is there any other key takeaways you have? People getting prepped for a meet?
No, I would say, to recap the most important things, I would say prepare anything and everything you can, just in general, prepare, because it saves you stress. The day is stressful enough. Anything you can do ahead of time to be ready for it will be helpful. The thing we didn't talk about is equipment.
And that goes right back to the rule book thing of just be informed of the rules. You don't want to find out that, like, your knee wraps or your knee sleeves or whatever it is aren't allowed, because that does feel a lot different now.
Yeah.
So be aware of the rules.
Yeah. So and then I would say again, I think it's really helpful if you can go with someone, like, to be your handler, to lift with, that's lifted before, any of that. Or if you can't do that, be friendly in the warm-up room and at weigh-ins and stuff, and you'll probably find people that will ask you, oh, this is your first meet, hey, I can help you with this and that, and there will be people willing to help you. So be open to being helped too.
Yeah, and I would say at the end of all of this, my biggest thing I could say is it's powerlifting. I, for the most part, don't even remember what my totals or numbers are. I struggle to even remember what that is. None of this really matters.
Yeah.
So just, like, cool it. You
don't be a dick.
Yeah, don't be a dick. Like, don't be that guy that thinks you're too strong or too cool for anyone.
Right.
Like, be helpful. And, everyone's there to have fun.
Yeah.
Like, that's the reason. No one's there to, like, get paid.
Right.
Because that's
especially at a beginner level, which who we're talking about. Like, it's
like everyone's there to, like, do what they do, a hobby that they enjoy doing in their free time. And so it's lifting weights. It doesn't need to be more dramatic or more complicated than what it is.
We've met a lot of good people through lifting, that become friends.
Yeah, go and be ready to, like, meet cool people.
Because this is your chance to be around other people that like consider this to be one of their main.
Yeah, you're not the weirdo. Like, you're just one of the guys.
Yes, yeah.
Some people that probably rubs them the wrong way, but for the most part, you are just like everyone else here, and you're all on the same page. You're all ready to have fun, embrace it, and have a good time.
Yeah, I think that's all pretty sage advice.
Yes, wise beyond our years.
Yeah, maybe in like 3 or 4 more years we'll do this again, having forgot that we just did it now.
I hope so. Good stuff. Tanner, do we have anything else to cover today?
Yeah, we of course have other things to cover. We get into our segment section of the podcast. Big lifts. I don't know that I have any written there, but one big lift, Brad Neitzel. Did you see what Brad did?
The old 900.
Yeah, 900-pound deadlift.
The road to 900.
Yeah. I wonder what his road is to now.
He's kind of running out of roads.
Yeah. I guess you have to go #road to.
When you're on the road to 500 to 600, there's a lot of roads after that one.
Wait, I thought the road goes from 500 to 700.
You're right. Well, yeah, 700 and then 900. So you have at least 2 more roads.
Yeah.
But after you hit the road to 900, There's not a lot of exit ramps on that one, so I'm not sure what the next road is.
It's a lonely road.
He probably knows what it is. I don't know what that road is though.
Yeah, he competed in I think it was they did a log lift, a log press, a farmer's carry, and a deadlift, and I don't know we're just fresh off of it, and I think the only thing he really shared so far was his deadlift, and he got 900. It's a lot. So
yeah, that's really awesome.
Of the Massenomics guys we have on our athletes page, we have Brad, who has now deadlifted 900. Mm-hmm. Chris Weiss, who has deadlifted 915 in powerlifting competition, and John Oldham, who just recently deadlifted 800 for the first time. So
yeah. There's a common thread there.
Yeah, they're strong.
I'm not saying
the common thread. They're wearing Massenomics stuff.
That is. I was gonna say, I'm not saying it has to do with the big deadlift.
Yeah.
Yeah, so congrats to Brad. That is awesome.
Yeah, that is pretty sweet. Good job. What's Brad's nickname?
Kind of fat, kind of strong.
Yeah, that's his handle. But what's his nickname?
Oh, Night Moves.
Yeah, Night Moves.
Mr. Night Moves.
Yeah. That's kind of all I had. That was the big thing I had for big lifts. Did you have anything else on big lifts?
That was, to me, really the big lift of the week.
It kind of overshadowed all the
A week
other
from now,
lifts.
I think we're going to have a lot more big lifts, but...
yes, a week from now, post Arnold, we are going to have probably a lot of big lifts to talk about. Okay. Best Instagram/YouTube comment of the week. I didn't write this down, but I do want to find this really quick if I can here. It was on the repost of the Massenomics versus of Arnold Schwarzenegger versus Arnold Palmer.
Classic.
And I want to find this comment. It was really recent here, so I should be able to get to it quick. One of the criteria on the versus was nickname. Arnold Palmer was the King, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was the Austrian Oak, which Arnold has a number of nicknames. I would agree that right off the bat.
Yeah.
But someone did comment, and this isn't our best Instagram/YouTube comment of the week, but it did make me pause to think that this could be a candidate for best comment. He said, "I've never heard of of Arnold being also known as Austrian Oak," and that's not the comment that I said. Yeah, I guess my response was, "You came to the right place to learn something today, then." And he says, "Yeah, but it's weird because his last name is German, so to call him Austrian Oak makes no sense." And my response was, "Arnold is from Austria."
Really? Actually, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was just recent. But his comment was, "But it's weird because his last name is German, so to call him Austrian Oak makes no sense." And my response, I wanted to be like, Google Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Did they say anything after that?
No.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah, other people liked the comments,
Sure.
as they normally would, but.
Well, maybe you learned two things that day then.
Well, and it's the original comment itself is not worthy of best comment of the week. That's a pretty
it was the follow up.
Yeah.
But like, you're in the clear. You learned something.
Yeah,
you don't have to say anything.
And I don't. You better Google something first before you're like challenging people on it. Just like a really simple Google.
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah, like he's German, and also I don't know the world history of German and Austria and everything, but I do know that they're pretty close to each other and their names are kind of similar to each other, so I understand the mistake.
But not this time.
No, I'm not going to let it fly. All right. Best segment of the week. Underrated and overrated. Underrated or overrated, not end.
Oh, I thought we were changing the rules this week.
Maybe there's some topics in here that are both, but we're going to stick with underrated or overrated today. And what underrated or overrated is, it's lightning round questions. Some of them are pop culture, and we also mix in a few lifting-related topics in there. Tommy does have his druthers of responding either as quickly or as lengthy as he wants. So the questions are lightning round. The answers, not necessarily. It all depends. That was probably the fastest we went through the rules that I've went through the rules in quite a while.
That was really good.
If you missed it, cover it again every week. All right. Underrated or overrated? Satellite radio.
Oh, way overrated. There's just not a need for it. 10 years ago, it might be underrated. You get some programming you don't normally get. But now with like Spotify, Apple Music, whatever your streaming music platform is, you don't need it. They make playlist like that's what a radio It's what a radio host does, is they make playlists for you. These stations make playlists for you. Talk radio, podcasts exist. There's just no reason for satellite radio anymore.
Yeah.
I guess if you're a hardcore Howard Stern fan, then maybe, because I believe that's still
he's not on a podcast.
No, as far as I know, he is still satellite radio.
But he gets paid tons, so maybe that's why he's
not
on a podcast.
That is, yes, that is why.
Is it Sirius XM is one thing now? That is
thing.
So when I say satellite radio, it is just Sirius XM is it, right?
Yeah, there's no reason for it anymore.
I bet their sales have gone way down the last few years, haven't they?
That's what I would like. I'm sure you could actually look. You could probably find out online.
I don't know if they're not partnered with like General Motors to put it in brand new vehicles or whatever. They're
and just
probably
like get
not.
People like the people that have a lot of money and get their subscription just never know to cancel it. That has to be their primary customer.
Yeah, I would agree. So you're going
satellite radio, way overrated.
Yeah, overrated or underrated? Pennies.
Pennies are overrated. Probably that piece of currency that shouldn't exist because it has essentially no value now. But because of the world we live in, can't quite get rid of them yet.
Canada, I don't know if we talked about this before or not. I think maybe I mentioned on the podcast. Canada, correct me if I'm wrong, Canadian listeners, which we do have a number of out there, but I believe they got rid of the penny. They no longer mint the penny. It's still legal tender that you can spend, but they do not put more pennies into circulation. Yeah. And I think that's true.
The only thing I don't
might be
get
making
is
it up. I'm not sure.
How do you make that? Because there's always going to be that thing that's $5.99 or $4.99. How do you make change for that?
But then I don't think you can price things that way then anymore.
Or what? And that's just where it gets tough. But yeah, I'm sure it doesn't make any sense to. There's probably tons of studies on it. It probably costs more to have the penny than it does to just get rid of it.
I think that's the case. Like it costs I think government wise.
Yeah, I thought I heard something like that one time, but
so overrated. It's overrated. Yeah. Underrated or overrated? Relevant to this week's episode. Starbucks.
Ooh.
Not dumb Starbucks, just Starbucks.
The real Starbucks.
Yeah.
It's the same thing of like people the purists that will rag on like Starbucks or Subway or any of these places saying, well, it's not that good. Yeah, I get it. It's not that good. But the thing is that you kind of get the same thing every time. Like if I go to Subway or order a steak and cheese, I know what I'm getting. Yeah. Like there shouldn't, unless it's really, really bad, there shouldn't be any surprises with it. If anything, the surprise should be like, oh, that was actually a little better than I thought.
Yeah. Same
thing like with Starbucks, all these places. Here we have Caribou coffees too. They make a cup of coffee that's predictable. Mm-hmm. I am by no means a coffee snob, so I'm like, sure, it's different than my regular black coffee. Yeah. It's a break from the norm. Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah. But I get, okay, the question though, Starbucks underrated or overrated? Starbucks is everywhere. Yeah. So because it's everywhere, I have to say it's overrated.
I think maybe that they've been closing some in some areas. I think I've heard or read something about that.
They can't keep making more. No. At that point, they're just going to be inside themselves.
But in like the little town that we live in, there's two within.
And they're 100 yards from each other.
Yeah. Which that's weird.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
The few times I have had something from there, I thought it was good, I guess. But
they do have some things that I really enjoy.
Me as a shopper, I'm not typically going to spend that much on coffee, so I'm not going to be a common customer.
2 coffees for $10 isn't something you would prefer, Tanner?
Like that's crazy to me. Is the thing. Like, but not to say I would never do it. Like I could say there could be, a special situation.
For me, that's more of like the weekend treat. Like, I'm out and about. Right. Like, let's get some tasty coffees.
Right. People say that Starbucks plain coffee has a metallic-y taste or something. That's a thing that people say.
Plain coffee. Yeah. Like when I go there, I'm getting something with some flavor in it.
Yeah. But overall, you're saying overrated?
Yeah, overall it's overrated.
Okay. I think some people are pretty fanatical. So.
Yeah, they probably are.
Okay, you remember at the beginning of underrated, overrated, how I said sometimes we mix in some lifting-related topics? Mm-hmm. Here, number 4 on underrated, overrated is where we get to that.
All right.
So underrated or overrated, underwear rules for powerlifting meets.
That's overrated. It's so stupid. Because there's a big difference between underwear and supportive equipment.
Right.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest one. I'm not sure what everyone else's underwear rules are, but USAPL being that they have to be briefs because obviously the ply of boxer briefs is too supportive.
Yeah.
By that logic, a ply of your shirt is, it's just dumb.
Yeah.
It's a dumb rule, but
But I agree completely. But I guess the alternative is that's where the slippery slope is. If you say, okay, you can wear spandex. Because to me, I think you should be able to wear spandex shorts.
Yeah.
Like, because that's not helping you lift more, but it's just like a more comfortable thing to wear, I think, when you're squatting. Yeah. But then it's like someone gets ones that are made like 3 layers thick. And then it's like, well, is that okay? And then, so that's why I do.
It almost seems like you would apply. It gets so hard to enforce,
right?
Like a thickness rule, because
right.
like Ray-Ban warm pants,
right?
Shouldn't be allowed
wear
under.
those.
Like,
yeah,
they shouldn't be allowed.
Right.
But that is any common person looking at that.
Right,
is
just like
that's
a common
completely
sense.
Different
It should almost be a common sense rule. Like
it is, but you need a hard rule in the books.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it'd be that hard to enforce a rule or to write up a rule.
Yeah.
Discussing like the thickness of the material.
Right. So
because they're not even in the same league.
No, right, all right. Overrated though.
Yeah, underrated is overrated.
All right, last one here. Underrated or overrated? Sour Patch Kids. SPKs, if you will.
This is tough. I like Sour Patch Kids. They're good. I don't hardly eat them, but they are good. I think it's underrated. Oh, what about their distant relatives, the Swedish Fish?
Swedish Fish. Yes.
Those are good,
My son,
too.
Jack, really enjoys Swedish Fish. Yeah.
It's basically Sour Patch Kids without the sour.
Yeah. The thing about, like, I guess Sour Patch Kids are good. Of course, I mean, all that stuff is good. I don't eat it, but, like, it's like, who would eat that and be like, ugh, yuck?
Yeah, I guess if you have zero sour tolerance.
Yeah. But what about Warheads? Just thinking off the top of my head. Do
can't
Warheads still exist?
I think they do.
Yeah.
They have to. There's no way I've had one in the last 10 years.
Right. No. They could get pretty sour.
I'm curious actually now what one would be like.
Yeah. Like I get that just thinking about it. I get that feeling in the back of my mouth.
Even as a kid, like your sugar tolerance, you could just eat candy all day, and it's like, well, yeah, it's candy. It's just, and like now
it'll like make you sick if you eat too much.
Like even just a little bit, you're like, ooh, I'm overdoing this, man. But I would be really curious, like how bad a Warhead is now, or maybe it's not. Maybe just as you get older, your sour receptors just suck, and it's like it's not sour anymore.
Right,
I don't know. I gotta do that.
The thing I would say about Sour Patch Kids is there seems to be kind of this is how a lot of topics are sometimes on overrated, underrated, where they're good, but for some reason, like I don't know if it's in the lifting community or what it is.
People love to just freak out about them.
Yeah, and I'm like
I love Sour Patch Kids more than anyone's loved.
Right. Where I'm like, are they that good? Or?
No, they're not that good.
No.
As far as a candy, I think they're probably pretty underrated. There's not a lot of sour candies out there that are something you'd want to like eat a bag of. I think they do fit that spot nicely, but as far as
haven't they really like grown it like a following thing?
And I can almost guarantee you that pay attention to this, people. I'm 90% sure I will have a Sour Patch Kids ad on my phone in the next day or so. Do you ever get Sour Patch ads?
I don't know if I ever have.
And it could just be dumb coincidence, but this was not long ago. We were on a road trip in a gas station, and for whatever reason, they had the mega jumbo size bag of Sour Patch Kids, like the 3 or 4 pound bag, whatever it is. And we're like, oh, that's crazy. I've never seen one of these in a gas station. Said Sour Patch Kids 20 times. Not even 5 miles down the road in the car, Sour Patch ads. Multiple of them. Multiple of us had them on our phone.
And you had done what though? Like
we just talked about them.
Okay, that was my question is, could be a topic for a whole nother thing, but do you think we get fed ads based on just conversations that are picked up on devices?
Well, I mean, even to this day, people still don't completely know how Facebook is getting your data.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's unreasonable to think that.
Yeah.
It probably has a bit of a tinfoil hat thing to it, but I mean, we're still finding out. Facebook is routinely getting in. Just the other day, I read an article. Facebook got in trouble because they found out through an app. Developers could find out women's menstruation cycles because it was being shared through an app, and like that's kind of like getting into like health stuff now, and you know, depending on what they signed up for, it might have been in there, but there's just Facebook always has stuff going on behind the scenes that you don't know about.
Right. So knowing women's menstruation cycles, underrated or overrated?
You know, to the right person, it's probably very underrated.
Really cash in on that one.
I don't want to go there.
No. The bears can smell the menstruation.
I mean, that's what bears are for. Yeah. They know those things.
I think that wraps us up for underrated and overrated, and I think it wraps us up for this episode.
I think so.
What we want you to do is go to our store. What we're not sure of is what's left in the store.
Inventory levels could be spotty at best.
Yes. We as you're listening to this, we're on our way home from the Arnold. Hopefully we're survived. Hopefully we're alive. Hopefully we don't have anything to bring home with us.
Yeah, we're either riding high or just the world just handed us a shit sandwich and we're rethinking a lot of stuff right now.
In which case maybe this would be the last episode that you hear and we're like, well, that's it. Screw it.
Yeah, so go buy that stuff. And, either way, you should go buy the stuff because it'll either be your last. It could just be your last chance no matter what.
Yeah.
So.
We could put it out there. The shirt that's out for you to purchase now is the Curl Hard shirt.
It was the Curl Hard shirt.
We don't know if we have any of those right now for you to buy or not.
It was a very limited quantity, so
I hope, unfortunately for your sake, I hope we don't have any.
Yeah, if there are any left, you're definitely going to want to buy them because there will not be many left.
Yeah, yep, for sure.
We'll try to get a restock going.
Right. We don't know what's out there for inventory, but check out our site if you're after stuff, and if not, it probably will take a couple weeks until we got everything fully reloaded again.
Yeah. But in the meantime, check us out online because we're going to have a lot of good Arnold coverage.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good point.
Should have some interviews.
We don't know exactly what we are
know.
or
It's a
aren't
different
going to
approach.
have.
But there'll be something. So
there will be
be on the
something
lookout.
good.
There should be some cool things.
Yeah, for sure. So stay tuned to us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere and everywhere. Subscribe to our email list at the bottom of our page and leave us a podcast review. We still have been seeing the podcast numbers go up, so that's super cool.
Yeah,
keep on keep on listening and keep on sharing.
Keep doing what you guys are doing. Get the word out there, and we really, really appreciate that because that makes us want to do this thing more.
Yes, even if we don't actually gain anything from it other than seeing a number go higher on the screen, that's enough for us.
It's the little victories that keep people going past 150.
Yes, that's right. So hopefully we will catch you next time for episode 153. Instagram handle, Tommy?
At Tomahawk_D.
And you can follow the official Massenomics at Massenomics. We will catch you next time.
See ya.
You just heard the Massenomics podcast. With your ears, you're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.